Hey guys, welcome back to The Growing Place. I've got a big announcement. This is a new season, a new change to the dynamic. Pastor Elliot has gotten very busy recently and he has decided to step away from the podcast. And him and I talked about it, and the timing of it was actually insane. I have a new co-host, and we'll get into that, and the dynamic of the podcast is going to change, how it's going to work is going to change, but the overall um the love behind it, the passion behind it, it's all going to remain, and we want you guys to stick with us. But let me first introduce my co-host before we get into all that. Gabby, say hi.
Hi.
Gabby, if you don't already know, because again, most of our listeners are from our church anyways. Gabby, introduce yourself. Like, more than just the word hi.
My name's Gabby, and I go to Freewater Church, and I'm Dakota's friend.
Gabby's a little upset because this is actually the second time we've had to film this. We gotta love technical difficulties. It decided, the recorder decided that it was going to cut off, and so it didn't record from there. It recorded to my computer, and it only could pick me up, not Gabby, who's sitting across the room. And she's like, I don't want to do it again. And I'm like, I don't blame you, but we said we would. And we'll probably talk about this, the struggles of that in future episodes, because that's kind of what the podcast is changing to. It's not really changing, but it is. Before, with Pastor Elliot, we talked about different parts of the Bible. Like, I would ask questions that people would ask, and he would basically just give a biblical answer for them. We did it for young adults, but that's still what we want this podcast to be about. We want this to be a podcast by young adults for young adults, because Gabby and I, we're all the same age. We're in our 20s, and I look at young adults as going into like 18 plus. I even know some 40-year-olds who, it's just young at heart, young adult at heart. So, Gabby, what I told Gabby is I wanted to ask questions and stuff like that we'd bring, and so people can get to know us a little bit better. You guys kind of know me at this point, but for those who don't know Gabby, now, I said this in the first time we recorded this, and I'm going to say it again because I think it was very accurate. If you don't know Gabby, what are you doing? Because Gabby is a whole personality in and of herself, and she is a delight to be around. She's just a very bubbly people person, and you guys are going to get to see that if you don't already know. But again, if you don't already know, what are you doing? I'm specifically talking to people at our church in that regard. So, Gabby, tell me, why did you want to get involved in doing a podcast, and from your perspective, your side of things, how did you get involved with this podcast? And then I'll tell my side of the story.
So you and Pastor Elliot, started this podcast, and within a few months, you had that flow going and everything. And you and I like to discuss and run ideas by the other.
Constantly.
Particularly when it comes to young adult stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how we got on the topic, but we both had that thought of we should do a podcast for people our age, just talking about life, not necessarily trying to tell you what to do or like we know more than you, or
because we don't.
But basically just sharing our experiences and
making it a place where people can relate to us. Like,
so we go through it too.
It's a new meaning of the growing place, because we're all growing together.
Exactly. Wow.
That's
a change.
And it worked out. The timing of it was quite interesting, because Gabby and I had come up with a name that we debated on for a while, and we kind of had an idea of what we were going to do and how it was going to flow, but we actually pushed it back a month.
That's right. And so we were both so busy, we decided, hey, let's just start in June. Come to find out, was it yesterday?
It was yesterday. So we're filming this on a Monday. Yesterday, on Sunday at church, one of my friends was talking to Pastor Elliot about the podcast, because a lot of people, like a lot of you guys have been asking, where's the podcast at? It's been 6 months. Where's it been? And that's just life. It just gets busy.
Mm-hmm.
But I talked to Pastor Elliot today. I called him and basically said, like, hey, what do we want to do? And he basically told me, like, I want you to take it over. I want you to find a co-host and take it over. And he's like, I want to come back every now and again for an episode or two if you guys are up for that. But I would love for you to take it over because I don't want it to die out. And I told Gabby, and I was like, I think that's kind of interesting, the timing of it, since we had already planned to film today. And then it's just like, well, we could start the new one or step into what this one was supposed to be.
Yeah, it's definitely God's timing.
And I think it's for the best, and I think it's going to go very well. And the what's funny is Gabby and I we almost were on a like a talk show together. Our church, Pastor Stan, way back when I first started at Freewater, few months in, he saw how talkative we both were. I mean, he already knew with Gabby at that point for like a year, but he had very quickly learned that with me, and that we like to be in front of people. And he thought, instead of doing morning announcement videos or just somebody standing up there, that he would put us on stage with a couple of chairs, basically to give the morning announcements, but like do it in a talk show like manner where we could debate on things and just have general discussion. And I said, hey, why don't, and then when we were talking about doing a podcast, I said, that's kind of what I want us to do. I don't want it to be so like topical. Like, I want it to be real life. I want it to be growing up as young adults. So it kind of just like, same idea, just 4 years down the line.
Wow. Yeah.
Almost to the
And
day, actually.
it's pretty much what we do naturally anyway as friends. You and I just really do just talk life just like this. But
we're just making our phone calls public, essentially.
yeah, no. Full circle moment that we, no need to rush anything. It's definitely going to work out exactly when it needs to work out, how it needs to work out. So that's beautiful.
So, like I said, I asked Gabby to prepare some questions for me. I prepared a few for her. And by that, I mean I did not have any time to prepare any. So I came up with them off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby, way more prepared than I am. And that's actually my question. Gabby, you're for those who don't know, Gabby is incredibly gifted with planning and making things happen. Just as an example, me and some friends went to go see a movie this last weekend. Gabby, how many people did we have go?
20.
And how in the world did you get 20 people to organize? Now, I want to preface this. I can barely get 2 to 3 people together to go to a movie at the same time. Like, I struggle with that. Not only that, Gabby managed to get, I think it was 16 of the 20 all organized in less than an hour. She got 16 people. And not only that, she got everybody to send me the money to order the tickets in the same day. That is her God-given gift. How do you do it? How do you do it? What is your secret?
You said it. It's God. I don't know. It's how God flows through me. Everybody has their own unique gifts and abilities. Yeah, I'm grateful.
Gabby is so good at it. Like, if you want, Gabby knows my schedule better than I do half the time. I'm not even kidding.
You'll call me randomly and be like, okay, so do I have anything planned for this day or this day? And it's like, okay, this is what I have on my planner. Is there anything else I'm missing? And I'm like, nope. That looks good. All right. You're all set, buddy.
I'll literally be with some of my best friends, and I'll give them I'll give Gabby a call or a text. They're like, dude, do you have a secretary or something? I'm like, look, I just have a friend who keeps me set straight, because like literally like this last year, I bought like a little planner that I keep in my bag that goes everywhere with me. I only did that because Gabby had one, and I'm telling you, I have never been so organized. Like, I'm a very organized person, but never that way with my schedule. Gabby has helped me with that significantly.
Beautiful.
So Gabby, another question is, because again, this is a podcast. It's by young adults for young adults. But what made you want to get involved with young adults? Like what you were just saying, how we talk about young adult stuff all the time, specifically like related to our group. Where did that passion come from, and how did you get involved?
So early on in my journey of attending free water, not like super early, it was several months in, I was asked to lead college and career, which is our young adult group, and just kind of, try it out, see how it goes, because it wasn't really a formed group quite yet. So I had to pretty much start from scratch and really try to pull people in. And I really thought that was not my calling. I was like, listen, I thought it was, a challenge. And it honestly did grow me. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I got to lead college and career for a year and 4 months until I had to step down because of school. But I thought, listen, I am that kind of girl that my idea of fun is probably different from most people's idea of fun. So I thought I was not the best perfect person to, try to get the gang together and do fun things, etc., etc. However, God in his great guidance, he helped me to be able to bring that group together, which was a good amount of people, but it's not as large as it is now at our church. God really just brought a bunch of young adults just in an influx in the last year, I would say.
Yeah, it's been crazy. And honestly, I credit Gabby to a part of that. Like she be inviting people. Like she don't miss a chance. I mean, I feel like most of us don't at this point. Like I feel like everybody has done a good job of it. But the crazy thing is like Gabby is the reason I'm at the church that I'm at. Like going flashback, what was it? What month was it? It was 2021, April.
Wait, the month that you came to Free Water?
No, the month that we met.
January.
Was it really January?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So January 2021, my friend Ty, who's like a second mother to me, she invited me over to her house to meet Gabby and my now sister-in-law, Ivory. She wanted us to just hang out and get to know some new people. So me and my sisters went over and we were hanging out. And the funny thing is, the Gabby I met that day is a Gabby that is not the Gabby that is Gabby. That's a whole mess of words. Basically, she was the opposite of herself that day because she had a massive headache. And also Ivory had to be the opposite of herself a little bit because for those who don't know my sister-in-law Ivory is a very quiet person. She is not very loud. I've always said that when Ivory speaks though, you listen. But she is a very soft-spoken person and naturally introverted. And she had to go break out of her shell and be the talkative one because Gabby had a massive headache and was barely talking. She looked so grumpy, like she hated the world. She did not want to talk or do anything.
Yeah, during that time in my life for several years, honestly, Sundays really just...
Was it a Sunday?
It was a Sunday, bro. It was after church.
Oh.
And Sundays just really made me...
better than I do.
Of course. Sundays just made me really tired, and I would end up feeling like so drained just with headaches. Thankfully, that hasn't happened as much in the last couple years. But yeah, back then, I almost guarantee like every Sunday I would have a headache after church.
Interesting. Just now finding that out.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, like we hit it off with Ivory and all that, and she invited me. Or like they had told me that their young adult group was going to get together at some point. And when was that? April?
The young adult group we got together March 20th.
March 20th. Okay. I was close. I was a lot closer on that one. So Gabby had texted me a couple weeks before that, basically asking if, like, basically not even asking, telling me I should come. And I was like, well, can my brother come? And she's like, yeah, bring him. So me and my brother went to Ivory's parents' house, which is where it was being hosted. What was it? Like a little cookout?
It was a bonfire / cookout.
Yeah. And I quickly met pretty much everybody. And I remember I met all the different people. I met Ivory's parents, who I love. I met Jacob, our worship leader at our church. And man, he freaking blew me and Hunter away. Like, we were not ready. Like, he just brought out his guitar. It was just completely impromptu. They weren't planning to do like an impromptu worship session, but me and Hunter looked at each other that night on our way home. We said, we're going to that. And this is on a Saturday night. And we said that the next day we're like, we're going to that church in the morning, right? She's like, yeah. And so I texted Gabby. I'm like, we're coming in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Save us some seats. Then Gabby save us some front row seats. And for those who do not know, I did not like ever being on the front row, ever. I was a near back seat person. I like to be in the back corner. And now I'm like, okay, brand new church and all that. And what a day that was, because that was one of those.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of those days where the Holy Spirit completely took over,
Yes.
and Pastor Stan threw out the sermon, and we were there till we were at church till almost 4 p.m. that day. Just
Yeah, that was
there was a
powerful.
fire tunnel, like it was, and I'm like, look, I grew up Pentecostal, but that was like that was a whole new level of just stepping into it, like first time visitor. But me and Hunter, which you're gonna hear Hunter and Ivory's names pop up a lot. They're friends and family to both of us, but
Right.
we knew right then and there, we know where we're supposed to be. And
Wow. It's incredible.
it's funny because like I don't think Gabby and I realized back then how close we would become.
Absolutely not. Okay. First of all, I don't know why, but Dakota and I always just kind of butted heads.
It's because we're similar in
Is
that
that
way.
why?
We think the same in a lot of ways. Like literally, we think so similarly. Whether it be other than movie taste, which mine is far superior, but that's a different. That's a topic for a different day. But like, we'll literally text each other like, "Hey, should I wear this today, or should I wear like? What do you think of this outfit?" And then we always mutually agree on stuff like that. And then whether it be like planning young adult stuff, we're always in sync with that kind of stuff. We always bounce off each other. But like early on, we called each other siblings. But I called her that for a completely different reason. I would call her my sister because I always would say because we butt heads like siblings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, but now honestly, like literally when I say sister, I mean like family, like in the most true sense.
Same here. And turns out, I guess we just needed to combine our minds and work on planning stuff. And see, look at that. We flow.
We on it.
That's right.
Like we honestly, like there are a lot of our friends who call us the dream team in the sense of like when the two of us get together to plan something, what like for the young adults or whatever have you, it gets done. We get it done. But there are days though we've had like events planned where we both just said, nope, we're not doing this. We ain't doing this no more. And we'll talk to everyone else and we're like, okay, look, we're either going to reschedule this or cancel this.
Right.
But I mean, that's just life.
Right.
And again, that's being young adults.
Amen.
So I got another question for you, Gabby.
Shoot.
What got you to where you are now? What got you to free water? How did you get saved? I feel like that people will find this interesting, as I do.
Oh, I hope so. I met Ivory back in the fall of 2019, and we really hit it off right away. We actually met at work. And I would say it was a God thing, just kind of because she was precepting me and she wasn't supposed to be. The way the schedule worked out, we were just put together. She invited me. She started talking about the greatest show play production that Free Water had been doing for a couple of years and that her mom wrote and directed the play. And I was like, oh my gosh. 1, I love the movie. 2, I love plays. And I was really interested. I wanted to go. She invited me. I wanted to be there. Didn't go. Typical nervousness and just low point in my life. Didn't go. Church for me wasn't an easy thing to show up to. I did not grow up going to church. So that's a whole other story why I was a little bit hesitant showing up. But I did watch the YouTube post of the recording of the play, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm texting Ivory literally throughout the entire play, like, these people are so talented. They sing so amazingly. This is so good. I was like, girl, take me to every event your church is having from here on out. So she did, the Christmas Eve stuff, everything. And fast forward a couple weeks, the day before my birthday, they were having a newcomers luncheon at church. And our pastor, Stan, was not there. I think they're having some type of men's conference. I think towards the end, or some type of conference towards the end of the year that they do, something like that. He was yet to be back. Pastor Andrea, his wife, was preaching that day. We had the newcomers luncheon, and I'm sitting there trying to eat, and I'm just stirred up inside, shaking. I'm nervous. I'm like, I don't know why, but I feel like I need to talk to Pastor Andrea. Let me tell you, I had never had a conversation with her. I didn't really know her. However, I knew that I had to get to her. A couple of minutes prior to, she had come and introduced herself to me, of course. Then I would go find her, and I said, I asked her if I could talk to her privately. So she directed me to the nursery. We're sitting in the nursery in the rocking chairs, and I'm venting and expressing myself and just kind of telling her how I feel, bawling my eyes out, snot everywhere. Like, it's just intense for me, right? Like, I needed this conversation. She starts to, give me godly wisdom and, answers. And I wasn't expecting her to lead me into the sinner's prayer, but of course, she asked Ivory to come in. Pastor Andrea holds me by one hand, Ivory holds me by the other, and Ivory and I aren't we don't know each other that well yet. We've only known each other for maybe 5 months, 6 months. But like I said, we hit it off right away. So of course, here they are. And I remember this, Pastor Andrea said that Ivory was very tender-hearted. And that's just one thing that you could really know off the bat when meeting Ivory.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right. So they were both holding my hand, and Pastor Andrea just leads me in the prayer. I repeat the words, and next thing you know, I'm wiping off my face. I'm getting hugs. I walk out of the nursery. Little did I know, in the moment, my life did change forever. Starting then, you'll hear some people testify where everything just starts to look different for them once they get saved. In the moment, I didn't realize it, but looking back, I can see that there was a different light. Like, everything that I could see was being presented in a new light. And then moving forward, God, as I sought Him and I went deeper and I wanted to know His heart, He changed my heart and changed me. It started with the heart, and then the heart changed how I portrayed myself. And I was never anybody like super wild or crazy or anything like that, but He shows you who you are and your worth and the importance of your existence. And you start to live that way. You start to recognize, hey, I have a place on this earth. And I'm just grateful that He transformed me in the way that He did. And a lot of times, guys, we won't see it right away. A lot of times we'll see it in hindsight. We'll look back and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm a totally different person. He transformed me. I didn't even realize it. But thank God that He did.
Guys, don't let her fool you. She says she wasn't wild, but I mean, I've seen her take a plastic water bottle, throw it in the trash instead of recycling. I know. She's as wild as it gets.
Yeah.
No, if you guys can't tell from that, I knew that Gabby was going to be the best co-host. Not just because we have I just hit my mic. We banter back and forth all the time, but also I just know Gabby's heart, and that's why I was like, Gabby is the best person to do this with. We have that close bond. We can just talk, and people have said our conversations can be entertaining.
Have they?
A few people.
I have never heard that.
They can't. It's mostly when we get into heated discussions, which
I believe that.
We will definitely get into some of. Honestly, I'm sure we'll plan some episodes where it's just watching us debate.
Oh boy. Buckle in, you guys.
One of the things looking forward as what we're planning and hoping to do is our church is building a podcast set where we'll be able to get some guests on and also maybe do a video format at some point. But we want to be able to get the pastors on, other young adults, and have episodes like that. Because the thing is, we may, like, there's episodes we were talking about, and this is kind of a tease for a future episode. I don't know when it'll be, but one of the topics we'll probably talk about is time management, because me and Gabby live very busy lives, but typically that is of our own doing.
Very true.
Like, and half of it is just church stuff, honestly.
Or 90% of it.
Yeah, honestly. Like, literally, I think this week, I'm not, well, I guess you could, do we want to count this? Not like as our church, but it's a church-ish thing. If we're counting this, then literally Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday again, or so at least half the week in a row doing church-related things or being at the church physically. And by the time, well, eventually we will be at the church filming these. So yeah. And half the time we have stuff going on at the church on Fridays, or like we live there.
Yeah, there's other ministries that we participate in, or we'll get our church crew together and we'll just hang out, which is, hey, that is being the church.
Yeah,
so we're constantly doing church stuff.
Oh yeah, like that is our lives, and we want you guys to be a part of it. We want you guys to be engaged. We want you to join us in this, because that's who this is for. It's for, other young adults. We like we said early on, like we do not have it all together, and we don't want to be perceived as somebody who does, because we want you guys to be able to relate to it and know that it's like, because we're gonna have people come on, give their testimonies and stuff like that. Other young adults, like I was telling Gabby, I was like, we could probably, I was like, I could step off for an episode. She could just do a whole episode with just divorced single young adults, because for some reason our church has a surplus of that.
And I'll tell you why. Free Water has the privilege that God really brings people that are hurting there to get their healing. Oh yeah,
and we see it each time. Like I've seen a lot of people that I grew up with, literally, that I never thought I would interact with again, come to our church and just completely 180 their lives for the better. And I'm hoping to get some of them on to talk about those changes and at some point. But I'm looking forward to the future of this. How do you feel? I'd say after recording your first episode, but technically this is your second because of the technical malfunctions. But first recording session.
I feel great, honestly. This feels kind of natural, not gonna lie. I was nervous with the first recording that you guys won't get to hear, but
it's basically the same.
I feel like I was meant to do this.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had plenty of people tell me that I'm meant to do it. I mean,
I've
always been told I have the voice of
a radio. I wouldn't say it's like what I'm supposed to do with my life, but I think that, like you said, I've had the gift of talking my entire life. I've actually controlled it very well as an adult. But ask my family. I could talk as a kid. And
you and me both, sister.
I think my family entirely would be like, you're perfect for that. No, they'd be happy. But
it's funny because people always tell me I have the voice for radio, and some other people say I have the face for radio.
There you go.
I don't think you got that joke.
What?
The face for radio?
Oh, because radios don't have faces? Yeah. Oh. To be fair, I don't get mean jokes. That's why.
To be fair, that's typically my students who tell me that. For those who don't know, I work in education, but it's typically my students who are the ones who say that.
That's crazy. No, yeah. So, like I said, I've never done this before, but just I do think in this season, this is definitely what we're supposed to be doing right now.
100%. It feels, like you said, it just feels natural. I mean, like I've done podcasts before, and this is not my first rodeo with any of this. But with some people I've filmed with, or even by myself, like it can be a challenge to film by yourself sometimes. And it can be even more of a challenge to try to go off as somebody who you don't naturally click with. Fortunately for me, Gabby and I can bounce off one another. Like it literally, again, it just, like I said earlier, it just feels like we're just publicizing our phone calls.
Yeah.
And hey, if you guys find it entertaining, let us know. Like, comment in it, text us, whatever. Like, hey, at what is it? The growing. It's been 6 months. I forget. It's at the growing place at gmail.com. I think. If it's
Are you
not,
sure it's not podcast on there?
I don't know. Now you're making me.
Golly.
Gabby, talk about something while I look it up.
Huh.
Okay, I
Well,
got it. The growing place podcast at gmail.com. Let us know what you guys think. Like, are you excited about the new season that we're walking into with this? Are you happy that the podcast is back? Do you not like Gabby? Like, just kidding.
yikes.
Just kidding. No, just let us know what you guys think. What is there anything you guys want us to talk about specifically? We're doing this for you guys, and we want it to be for you. So if you have somewhere you want us to go with this or a direction and for an episode, send it in. We'll talk about it and we'll give our takes on it. Now, granted, our takes again will not always be correct, but at least they're honest.
Right.
They're honest. And they might be flawed, but again, that's the whole that's what being a young adult is. It's you're not supposed to have it all figured out this early on.
Just know this. Dakota and I are not perfect and definitely do not seek us as the final word for anything.
Amen.
Because we're learning. We haven't arrived and we won't until we meet Jesus again.
And that's the thing is iron sharpens iron. We're sharpening off each other. We're learning from each other.
That's right.
So guys, any comments, questions, concerns, or anything, most of our listeners, our small amount of listeners at the moment have our phone numbers. Text us what you think. And otherwise, just hit us up at thegrowingplacepodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up there, and we look forward to hearing from you guys soon. I can't wait to film more of these episodes. I've had a really fun time with this.
Me too. Thank you for inviting me to your Growing Place podcast family.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will see you later. Have a good weekend, evening, whatever it is.
Week.
Have a good week.
Whenever we
upload it.
Yeah.
Have a good
life.
Have a good life. Yeah, have a good